There's a lot of people visiting Japan at the moment and a lot of first timers. And when you're coming here, there's a lot of things you've got to worry about, like, do I do this? Or how do I respect the Japanese culture? And today we're going to cover Japanese etiquette, do's and don'ts.
Hopefully we can bring your stress levels down just a little bit. So here's some do's and don'ts to do and don't do in Japan.
We got you covered. A lot of people know about bowing, and it's something that confuses a lot of people because there's different types of bowing, there's different degrees of bowing. But in Japan, that is something you'll come across in like everyday life here, when you go shopping at the convenience store or you leave the restaurant, the hotel.
Yeah, even if it's just like a little head bow, you know, you got, and then if you're in business, you know, if you like head to the floor, there's so many different levels of bowing. So what's appropriate and inappropriate? Actually, I had a person visiting. There was a girl who gave up her seat on the train for this person. They were doing their best, but they're like, arigatou gozaimasu, and they put their hands together and did a really deep bow. And I think hands together is a Thailand thing. I think they do it in Thailand.
It's not very common in Japan. I
don't really need
never
to do
seen
this.
it.
Yeah,
except for really the temples and the shrines. That's the only time, I believe.
Yeah, but in Japan, when you do a bow, if it's a proper one, then hands by your side.
The most common bow is definitely the slight nod of the head, like you're bopping a bit.
Yeah, I do it in Australia now.
I do it too.
I feel like it's so ingrained. I'm like, oh yeah.
If you're in Japan and someone does something nice for you, I think it's going to become a little unnatural for you to just do this, but you can just kind of follow the people around you. And so if you're at a shop, like a convenience store, you buy something, you can say, arigatou gozaimasu.
It's also a good way to apologize. Like if you bump into someone,
oh,
I'll like put my hand on and be like, oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, like just a little like, ooh, whoops. Yeah, a little bit of head movement for there too. But
yeah. The one thing is I'll mention, you never have to do a deep bow. Unless you've really messed up. Let's say like you're with the police, you can be like, I am so sorry. But let's hope you don't get into that much trouble in Japan.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, for a deep bow, I'd wait until you're really familiar with Japanese culture and customs and the language to really get in there with a deep bow. Otherwise it's like, whoa! Like, yeah, really understanding what the meaning is behind it.
Exactly.
Is very important.
I don't think anyone would interpret it as being rude.
Yeah, no, it'd just be like, oh, that's different.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, that's the gaijin bow.
Yeah, just like whomp. So one of the don'ts in Japan is pointing, like with your finger. I think in Australia I pointed way more, but it would be pretty rude to point like at a person.
Yeah.
But here it's more of like a hand gesture, like a flat palm. Like even if it's like, oh, who ordered the oolong tea? You don't go.
That is true. It's a very subtle difference.
It's like, oh, this person did. A service staff person is like gesturing to someone. They'll be like, anokata, like a very soft like hand gesture. So yeah, I usually it's safe to do like a flat palm, ta-da.
Just in general, don't point at people, but yeah, when you point at things like, oh, look over there, I feel like Japanese people don't really do that either.
Yeah, maybe if it's like, oh, look at the sky, look at that, maybe that's okay, but I guess if it's like an object or a person that's like nearby, then this is very strong.
Yeah, it feels very strong.
Direct.
One big custom here is gift giving, and that entails many things, including omiyage, which in English means souvenirs. And I've actually grown up with that culture because my family just really embraced it. But coming to Japan, it's next level because anywhere you go, you need to bring back some souvenirs. So my advice is actually, if you're traveling to Japan, bring something with you, even if you don't plan on meeting anyone, because if someone does something nice for you, you can just give them a little snack or little knick-knack from your country and it'll really like leave a nice impression.
Yeah, it's very important. I used to have Japanese exchange students when I lived in Australia, and every time I'd be like, whoa, because they'd bring so many presents. And it was such a shock for me because, I mean, gift giving is a little bit of a thing, but my family, it wasn't really huge. So I had to really learn like, okay, when I go to Japan, go to the Japan, the Japan.
The one and only.
The one and only
Japan.
The
land of the rising sun.
When I go to Japan, I have to bring all these little presents, like Australian snacks, little koalas.
Yeah, they're really good. Australia has lots of those things you can bring.
Yeah. Usually at like souvenir shops that I would never go into when I was in Australia, but then I ended up having to buy lots of little things to give people. So it's very important. Also business trips as well.
Yeah.
Like if you're going over to a different prefecture or going on a business trip, bringing back something for the company or for friends or neighbors or family members. Yeah, a lot of gift giving here.
It's fun though because whenever I go to a local cafe or hostel, I'll always see an Australian little like clip-on koala.
Yeah.
So you know the Aussies are bringing it with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really fun and it's fun giving it out because people always get excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
It's a good thing that you can also do when you go back home to your home country because you can bring Japanese souvenirs because they're not only is gift giving a thing, there's a whole culture behind it, like the design. Everything is individually packaged.
Yeah, like, the wrapping, like so many places will, if they'll ask you like, oh, is it for yourself, like, or a present? Yeah. If you say present, they're like, little bow and like.
And I know people are always just so impressed at the presentation of the packaging.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like a really special thing.
That's nice. Another don't that if you're not used to it can take a little bit of time to get used to is no shoes indoors. It's not every
I've messed up a few times.
I've also messed up a few times. When you go into a restaurant or a cafe, usually you don't have to worry about it, depending on it. But yeah, some of them you do. But yeah, when you go to someone's house or go to maybe a more traditional restaurant or some onsen, or a lot of onsens and sentos, you have to take your shoes off before going in. And usually they'll be signified by like a little step up.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But I've been to places where there's a step up and you don't have to take your shoes off.
Yeah, it's very confusing. So if you're not sure, just ask, because they'll be like, oh yeah, no shoes here or shoes on. The one thing that I always forget and mess up is the toilet. So there's a whole scenario where you go to the toilet and you already got your shoes off or you got slippers on, but you got to remove those and then put on the toilet slippers. Which is really funny. I think it's hilarious. It's cute, and they always have like a special design.
Yeah, I think toilet slippers are pretty cute.
Yeah,
I
don't understand the purpose, but
well, I'm like, the toilet slippers keep the toilet vibes in the toilet. By vibes, I mean maybe germs, or if there's anything on the floor, you don't bring it to the rest of the restaurant or take it anywhere. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Unless people are really dirty in the bathroom.
I'm not peeing on the floor, guys.
Yeah, I know. God.
Who's peeing on the floor?
But it's funny because even in Japanese households, it's not just restaurants. You'll have toilet slippers. Yeah. So yeah, you'll enjoy the discoveries of Japan and their slipper culture.
Take your shoes off, put the slippers on. Take the slippers off, put the toilet slippers on. Take the toilet slippers off, put the slippers on.
I actually have, like, when I travel, my own pair of like traveling slippers, because I don't like the Japanese slippers. I find them like they don't fit, they're too big, they're too small.
They're so slippery. The amount of times I've kicked them off when I'm going down the stairs.
It's just dangerous, it's a risk.
They're actually kind of scary.
Yeah, so I like to bring my Adidas slides.
Nice.
So be a cool kid, bring your slides.
This is a huge one, Japanese dining etiquette. Ooh. There are a lot of do's and don'ts. Basically, it's okay. You know, I feel like a lot of people get really stressed out about it. It's gonna be okay. You know, you're learning. There's a lot of like leniency towards that, but there's a lot of things to learn. When you start a meal, of course, you have to say, itadakimasu.
Good basic one.
And that's when you put your hands together, when you bow. That's the one time.
Oh yeah, you do bow. Yeah. See, that's another bow you can throw into your etiquette.
Yeah.
And then gochisousama?
Gochisousama.
After the meal?
Gochisousama deshita. Yeah, and you can say that to the restaurant owner or like staff or anyone.
Or I just say it by myself when I'm just sitting in the restaurant. I'll be like, gochisousama. Or I'll just say it like inside my head.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just, I really like it. It's just kind of therapeutic.
I'm like, it's done.
Thank you. And I'm done.
I don't know. Yeah, but then also like with your chopsticks, if you got like a bowl of rice or noodles or something, don't just like stick them in there and have them sticking out like that. That's really rude.
I think it means death.
Yeah, because that's like, they have that at funerals, right? Yeah, so don't do that. If you're passing food to someone, put it on their plate. Don't pass with chopsticks, because again, that's related to a funeral thing where I believe that you pass bones with chopsticks.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
One thing I want to mention is like when you come to restaurants in Japan, particularly nicer places, they'll have something called a hashioki, which is a place holder for the chopsticks, like a rest. And some of them are really cool designs. They're food, or some of them are just like really beautifully like painted. But yeah, you can just place them and rest them there. And if you don't have that, you can just kind of put them on top of the bowl, but you know, put them together and like at an angle. Yeah. Don't just stick them in. That's the one thing.
Yeah, I can't remember what angle is like.
Oh, is there a better angle?
Yeah,
let us know down below.
I got told there was a better angle where they should be, and now I'm like, I saw Japanese people doing it anyway, so I'm like, okay, I don't care anymore.
The only time you can leave it in the bowl, I feel, is like ramen, because you can just like rest it, not like sticking up, but like it leans on
like
the side.
Leaning. Yeah, as long as it's not just like straight up, I think it's okay.
Oh, ramen, slurping. I do this all the time, and a lot of people, especially here, and they're like, what is she doing? But apparently, it's questionable, but it's okay here. I don't know.
Yeah,
some people have said yes, some people say no. So.
Really? I feel like slurping is such a huge thing here. I feel like salarymen, it's like so intense.
But that's the thing, men do it, but a lot of women here don't.
Really? Oh, dang.
Have you ever thought about it?
I've been slurping, that's true.
I do it.
I hear like light slurping.
Light slurping. Yeah, but
not like as much as
guys go all in. I mean, I like that. I'm embracing it.
Yeah, I suck at slurping noodle though.
Noodle, yeah, you're not.
Udon.
Yeah, I feel like you can work on your slurp. Yeah.
Sometimes I get it. If it's like a smaller noodle and like a lot of it, it's like it's better. But udon, I'm a trash. I go and then it all falls out my mouth.
Yeah, you just gotta go for it.
A big baby.
You can't hesitate. You just need to go.
I gotta have confidence with my slurp.
Think about Naruto. Goes all for
the
it.
guy? Yeah.
Yes, he's the guy.
The guy.
The ninja.
The ninja guy.
And while we're talking about dining, don't do tipping here in general. It's really normal in America, but outside of that, the rest of the world doesn't really follow that custom. And I feel like in Japan, if you do that, people will chase you out the restaurant and be like, you forgot your change.
They'll be very confused. And even if you're like, it's a tip, they'll be like, no.
So I think the best way to go about it is thanking the chef and saying, thank you, this was so delicious. And you can ask, do you mind if I tip? If they say no, then that's what it is.
Yeah. I remember a friend of mine tried to tip a hairstylist once. We were saying over and over again, like, tip it, chip it, tip it. And they're like, I don't even know what you're trying to, like, giving you money. They're like, yeah, you've got to pay for the haircut. And I'm like, no, but more than that. But eventually they're like, oh yeah, I guess so,
I guess so, yeah.
But yeah, it's just very confusing.
Yeah, I think the only time that I've noticed it is if you order on Uber, they'll be like, do you want a tip?
Uber, yeah.
Yeah, other than that, or maybe a taxi driver, but even then it's not like part of the culture here.
Yeah.
So you don't need to worry about it, don't stress. And you can ask if you want, but it might not be
just be
translated
really
well. It'll be
yeah.
confusing. Yeah. But they appreciate a big old thank you with a bow, a little bow. Arigatou gozaimasu. A little bow.
A little bow. Another big do is polite behavior in public, which might feel like a different kind of standard to where you're from as well. Because, I don't know, in Australia, I feel like people talk loudly on the trains and like sometimes people play music and stuff, which I think some people do already get annoyed by that. But here, nobody's playing music out loud. Sometimes there's loud conversations on the train, but I feel like for some friends that have visited as well, when you get on a train, sometimes you don't have that awareness of the ambience around you. And like you'll be in a busy station and be like, oh yeah, no worries. And you get on, you're like, yeah, so the other day, and it's like, like, yeah, I think just having an awareness of your surroundings, kind of matching the sound vibe and how everyone else is behaving. If everyone else is like drunk on the last train and being like, rah, then you can do whatever you want. But I think, just being a bit respectful of public behavior and stuff.
A lot of trains still advertise, please put your phone on silent mode, like so your phone doesn't go off, and then don't talk on the phone.
Yeah, no calling on the phone.
Yeah, and then when you're talking with friends, that's totally fine. I think even if it's dead quiet, you can have a quiet conversation with your friend, as long as you're not like screaming. I think it's fine. And if you get told off, I think it's mainly you're being targeted. Because I've had that when there's other people talking on the train and I'm talking here, but then the Japanese older lady will tell off me. So I feel like, don't worry too much.
Yeah, I've also seen it with crossing your legs on the train.
Oh really? Is that not allowed?
So I do it, but like if people are passing, I'll like move my legs out of the way. Right. And I've seen other people do it, but I think for the older generation, that's like
like that?
Yeah.
Really?
And I've seen videos of like old men being like, you shouldn't have your legs crossed. Whoa. And like, that's like a thing. So yeah, that's also a thing. I wouldn't really worry about it. It's really intense, but I mean, if there's a lot of people, don't cross your legs because it takes up more room. But yeah, I think people can be particular about that one, but I think don't really worry about it.
Something that I don't think a lot of foreigners do, but I've seen Japanese people do, and it's taboo, is doing makeup on the train. I've seen that so many times by Japanese women. Yeah. And I don't think it's considered polite and allowed, but you see it all the time, so don't do it. And then I guess I've seen someone brush their teeth on the train.
Oh my god. Don't eat on the train as well. That's like a big thing, no like eating. I mean, sometimes if I'm really hungry, I'll be like, snack. But yeah, usually like, you know, no eating on the train. Okay. Oh yeah, also lining up for the train and queuing for stuff. Just obey the queue rules. They might be like, get to the end of the queue, or the queue starts over there. Or
follow the line. There's always a line on the platform. Where I know that there's Japanese writing, but you can just see that line. It's usually behind the yellow, and there's that one place, and it kind of always has two spots. Like you go out to the side, like
don't line up directly in front of the doors. Like just go to the side. So. Yeah. Also, if you have suitcases and stuff, even if you don't, when you get off a train, go somewhere. Like, just keep moving, because otherwise there's heaps of people behind you, especially if you have suitcases and you get off the train, like, right, where are we going now? Just get somewhere near a pole usually is good, because there's going to be heaps of people behind you that need to get off as well.
This next one is a don't, but it really only applies in business settings, and it's pouring your own drink. So usually, I think this originated when big groups of salarymen would go with their team members to their nomikai, which is like a drinking party. And you have to respect your boss, your manager, and the person at the bottom, so the new graduate, is always going around pouring everyone's drinks. And it's kind of a sign of respect here. And I don't think you have to go about it too seriously, because most of you visiting are on a holiday and you're with other tourists. But if you want to give it a go, it's basically, I have some tools here. I can.
Oh god, I was like,
this is my old latte.
Latte and like lemon soda water. That sounds I'm so bad.
I can drink it.
You're gonna drink it?
Sure, why not?
Do you want me to pour for you?
Okay, yeah.
My senpai?
Do you know the rules?
I know like
You're
So
let's say in this scenario that I'm the boss. Let's say you're gonna kampai. And first of all, let's start pouring. So you place it here and you gotta have the label upright.
okay, label's up. Label is up.
Yeah, and then pour. That's enough, thank you. And then
What
once you put,
ratio of latte and
yeah.
lemon soda water you want? Okay.
And then when we do our kampai, because I'm the senior, you need to kampai with
Oh,
your
underneath.
drink below. So that's really important. So label up. Yeah.
Label
Oh, there's
up.
2 labels. That's all right. And kampai.
Bye.
Yeah, that tastes terrible.
Wow, you really went for it.
So that's some etiquette that you can try out. You can also observe other people doing it, and I think that's fun to just like see it in real life happening. Because it is very common when you see salarymen out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also need to notice that the drink is probably about this level and you gotta start refilling.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think.
Do you want more?
Wow,
Is it that good?
It's pretty good.
Time for another don't. I think we should talk about things that people have done in the past that have gone viral, of like issues that tourists have done in Japan. I guess like taking pictures of geisha, following them around, harassing them if you're in Kyoto. Also cherry blossom season, shaking the cherry blossoms, trying to get them to fall,
It's
or
always
like
so
picking
painful
them.
to see that.
Yeah, basically messing with anything, climbing over fences.
Yeah, trespassing. That's illegal in
Trespassing.
every country, but yeah, it's also illegal here.
Yeah, like if you're at a temple or a garden, there's a fence, you don't need to climb the fence. You don't need to
Yeah,
do that.
don't take photos of schoolgirls either.
Yeah, I really hate that. I saw a very young child in their school outfit and there was a tourist and she got her phone and she looked at him and she tapped him and she was like, look, look. Took a photo of him and then just kept typing. And I was like, oh my God, I was so disgusted.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of photos of kids. They look adorable. They look so cute in their school outfits. Don't take photos of them.
Yeah, they're underage
Yeah.
for starters.
I feel like people come here and there's a feeling of like, I'm in a different world
Yeah.
and
It's like
everything's
anime.
fine. Yeah, and it just doesn't feel like real. And it's like, these are real people doing their real life things. Don't take photos of random children, please.
Yeah, you wouldn't do it in
really-
any other country.
Yeah.
There's something weird about it.
I don't like it. Yeah, I've just seen a lot of photographers lately. There was a guy standing on Harajuku, like a corner. As people walking past, he would get his camera and just go whoosh, whoosh, like in people's faces. I think he was trying to do something. I get that there's like art and everything, but oh my God, stop doing that. Yeah, when it interrupts other people's days and like gets in their face, I really don't like it. Just have some etiquette about you. Be ready to adapt and be nice and follow some rules.
Yeah, I think, as they say, do as the Romans do
Yeah.
in Rome.
Yeah.
I think I didn't say that correctly, but you get the message.
All roads lead to Japan.
Yeah, I know that you're a tourist and you're gonna make mistakes. That's,
Yeah, and
that's
that's
fine.
okay.
People are happy that you're here and enjoying the country, but just try and be aware, as Emma was saying,
Yeah, just be aware.
conscious of yourself and
Yeah.
just copy what Japanese people are doing, so long as
Yeah.
it looks legit. Like there's some bad Japanese people out there too.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
don't- yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. No
Yeah,
country's
but
perfect.
as long as you're trying, as long as like you're doing your best, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, and it's an awesome place. One other thing is, of course, when you're here, if you don't speak any Japanese, or even if you do, just be considerate of the speed you talk, because people aren't native English speakers here, and if they don't understand, speak slowly, pronounce your words.
Yeah, use simple words.
Yeah.
Like, don't try to make it complicated. Really clear sentences, and that'll give you the best shot. You don't need to yell or speak louder. I've seen that happen quite a few times. Just slowly and do your best and keep it simple.
Otherwise, you can pop out your Google Translate.
Yeah,
and
it's so easy.
they're very happy to help and like take their time. So don't worry about language barrier. It's going to be a thing, and nothing you can do can stop it.
Yeah.
Even living here, I don't always
Yeah.
convey my message clearly. So I'm like, excuse me. Yeah. So
Yeah.
slow and considerate, because they're just trying to help you at the end of the day.
Yeah. There's a lot of rules and it's very overwhelming. But yeah, just doing your best. It's okay if things go wrong. I still mess up.
I
all the
do
time.
too, all the
Sometimes I
time.
mess up on purpose.
Ooh.
Do something. But mainly, yeah. Do your best.
But let us know if we missed anything, because there are a lot more rules. We only covered a few. If you're planning to visit Japan, let us know what you're looking forward to.
yeah, I hope you have a great trip if you are coming here. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.
But when I first came to Japan, I got to the airport and I'd had a stressful flight, and my dad was with me, and he blew his nose. And the stress that put me through, I was like, Dad, you're not supposed to blow your nose.
Oh, wow.
I was so, and he was like, oh my God.